High notes tend to always be really difficult for students who are first learning to play flute, even if you've been playing for a little while. Part of the difficulty is that the fingerings are different. So for the low register and the middle register on flute, many of the notes have the same fingerings. So you just change the direction of the air slightly and maybe speed it up a little bit. So for example, low F and middle F, the fingerings are the same. It's just here that things are slightly different. However, when we get to the high notes, a lot of times the fingerings are actually going to change. So instead of just having to adjust here slightly to go from low to middle, going from middle to high or low to high, we have to change multiple things. So we have to change the fingers that we're using, the combination, the fingering, but then we also have to change here as well. And sometimes it's kind of a drastic change. So it's difficult to remember all of those changes that are happening at once. So if high notes are difficult for you, this doesn't mean that you're not a good player. It just means you're having to think about a lot more things before it becomes natural and second nature. So let's talk a little bit about how to approach those high notes. And I have separate videos about the actual notes themselves. For example, how to play a high C. So I have a separate video for that. You can definitely search for it. If there's a note that's giving you particular trouble, you can always drop a comment, and eventually I get around to making those videos as well. But let's talk just generally about those high notes and what's going on. So for the higher notes, you want the air to go more across the tube, right? So a lot of times what happens, too much air goes into the flute and the note doesn't come out. And then sometimes there's actually too much going across. So you're gonna have to find where that sweet spot is for you. Unfortunately, I can't tell you the answer because everyone's embouchure is different, because everyone's face is different. So there's not gonna be a one-size-fits-all answer for high notes. I know that's disappointing. That's not what you wanted to hear, but that is the reality. So let me show you a high G, and I'm gonna let you know what it sounds like when I make a particular mistake. So if your notes sound like one of these mistakes, hopefully that helps you figure out what it is that maybe you can adjust to sound more like what you want. So here's a G. If my air is going too much into the tube, I'm gonna get this. It's a really muffled, tiny sound that's just not really speaking clearly. So that's what it sounds like if too much air is going into the tube. If too much is going over, I get kind of a wild and airy sound that's really unfocused. So that's when too much air is going across. I do need some to go into the tube, but not too much and not too little. If I'm directing it appropriately, I'm gonna get a nice clear sound. So hopefully that helps you figure out just a little bit what's going on. Again, let's try a different note. Let's try a high A. So if I have too much going into the tube, it's not gonna come out. If too much is going across the tube, it's kind of, again, that wild air sound. If I get the proportions correct, I'm gonna get a clear sound. So match the sound that I played with what yours sounds like, and that can help you sort of troubleshoot and tweak what's going on. Also, so I do give a free trial lesson for new students. So if you want exact feedback for your playing specifically, you can take me up on that free trial offer, and I will leave the information how to do that in the description. So let me know if this helps. Let me know if any of these sound like you. Let me know if you have specific high notes that you want fingering help with, or whatever else you're struggling with flute playing. Drop a comment down below.